Okay. All right, let's get into this. All right, you all. So here's what we're going to talk about today, and feel free to take pictures. I don't mind you taking pictures because everything has been copywritten, trademark, proprietary. I don't mind. That's why we put out all the disclaimers out. Okay. So here's what we're going to go into today. Bernard, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about this $700 billion market and who's the biggest buyer. Is it the government or is it corporations? And Tania, we're going to talk about how to think through, do I really want to be in the corporate sector or the government sector? And how do I decide? Okay. We're also going to talk about the products and services, Hadassah, that they buy, because some of you are going to find that they absolutely do buy your services. And others are going to say, Dawn Nicole, I do not see what I sell on the screen. Now what? We're going to talk about how to get crafty if you offer something, Tania, that is not so popular. How do you still move your product? Okay, no one is talking about this, Suzette. Suzette, welcome back. It's good to see you, Queen. Suzette is an OG from last year coming on back. She just renewed last night. Okay. Y'all, we're also going to talk about key contracting terms that you hear, but you probably really don't know what they mean, like GPO. What does GPO mean? These big companies are quick to drop that term, Danola. That means group purchasing order. That's when all the procurement officers are going to order as a packet and get all kind of things. But these aren't commonly used terms that suppliers are aware of, but you're going to learn them today. Okay. We're also going to talk about the type of mindset. What separates you all on this call from being a good old fashioned small business to being a competitive high-end supplier. There is a mindset difference. I just shared with you that it took Maya 6 months to get in the door, but the average small business would have given up because small businesses are used to doing kind of small business. But when you come in this market, Amanda, it's competitive. It's high demand. There's an invisible culture. There's an invisible network, Teresa, of people who know people. How do you break into that, Nicole? We're going to go deep into that. And finally, we're going to end with the fitness test. How fit am I? After learning this, let me be really honest. What are the things I need to work on between now and the next session? So there's a real 7 C's of foundational fitness that you get to do today. So you're in good hands, you all. All right, now that I have your attention, let's get into this. All right, y'all can come off mute and talk to me, or you can talk in the chat. By a show of hands, how many people here today are actively competing for contracts, either through an RFP bidding process or via direct relationship building? If that's you, type me in the chat or come off mute and just holla me. If you're already competing, I want to know. Who is that? Who's already competing? Denola.
Me.
Okay.
We got lots of me's.
Lots of me.
Amanda, Tasha, Walker Piles, Shonda, direct relationships, Tania.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Michelle. Oh, Michelle says she's researching.
Okay, Michelle. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yes. A lot of people saying me.
I love it. I love it. The reason why we ask y'all this question, Amanda, is because we really want you to know you're probably already on to something today. We do not want to treat you all like you're net new beginners, because this is the thing. There's a lot of our members who think when I say, did you win a contract or are you competing for contracts? They only equivalate this to the RFP process, not realizing that there are 2 strands or two streams of contracting. One is directly through that official RFP process, which we're going to break down today, Bernard. But then all the contracts I won, and I've won quite a bit, has not been through the RFP process. Almost every single contract has been through direct relationship building. The state government one we just won, Danola, the one that you're working on as a subcontractor, we won that through good old relationship building. Thank you, Tasha Graham. Okay. We won all the contracts from last year and years prior, not through RFPs. Now, Yolanda, this doesn't mean that we haven't competed for RFPs, because you need to know both sides of the game, and we're going to teach it today. Okay. The other thing that I want to say, Tasha, because I know this firsthand, is even if you won contracts that are small or medium size, they all count as contracts. So now Tasha Dash on this call can say, I do have government experience. If the government paid you for a service, RFP or not, Tasha can claim that she has government experience. And now she does, because I happen to know through the state of South Carolina. Let's keep going. Okay, so let's get into this, y'all. This is my favorite slide. This is exciting. So here's the deal, members. Every single year, private and public sector corporations contract billions with a capital B, that's a big B, billions in your products, your goods, and your services from small businesses just like you. And even though corporations spend lots of those billions, the federal government is the biggest buyer. The only challenge, though, Michelle, as you know, is not everybody can come straight in with the federal government game, because federal government is going to ensure you know what you know. They like to see 5 years of experience. They like to see 3 years of experience, Sabrina. So I cannot, newly beginning, just go straight to federal government without proof of past performance, Bernard. So the question becomes, well, man, how do I even get that experience if they won't let me in? And we're going to talk about that, okay? Now, corporate is much more forgiving. Corporations will take chances on you, but that's the relationship part. We're going to talk all about it. The point of this slide that I'm trying to get at, you all, is that these numbers don't even include the local and state government contracting sectors. They don't even include that. I'm just talking about the corporate sector and the federal government sector, because there are 4 sectors that we're going to unpack today, Angel Taylor. All right, we're going to unpack 4 sectors. My point is that the contract opportunity market is booming, Shonda. Okay. Now, when you hear me talk about the term contract opportunity market, for some of you, this is the first time you've heard it put like this. What this really is this is the whole nationwide enterprise and system by which buyers contract with small business suppliers like you. We call that the contract opportunity market, and we need to coin it. And the reality is this, Bernard, there's no reason why your small business can't be one of the many vendor suppliers selling its products or services to the government. Do you agree? If y'all agree, type I agree. Those billions should be coming to you, right? If you agree that you need to be a part of this pie, type I agree. I need to see, first of all, the conviction and the belief that you should be included in this. Because here's the thing. I can believe in you. I can't believe for you. And if you don't even believe that this could be you, you will never enter this market. You won't even try. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, before we get into this, this is going to be so good that you're going to want to text a friend, and you're going to say, friend, you should have been on this morning's call. You need to be a member. We're getting this good stuff every single month. So before I show you how to strategize, you got to know the rules of the game. And the rules of the game, Hadassah, come in understanding the terms that no one is telling you. So Tania, they'll use these terms, but they'll wait for you to get with it. They're not going to break it down. But today we break it down. Okay. So number 1, I'm going to start in 3s. Contract opportunity market. I already expressed what that is. But what is really a request for a proposal, right? A request for a proposal is a formal document issued by the company who's the buyer. This could be a government agency, right? Or a corporate organization who's looking to solicit proposals from qualified vendors like you. Notice the word qualified vendors. I remember when we were given this training, Danola, Sonny Johnson was like, well, wait a minute, what's a qualified vendor? What is a qualified vendor? Who thinks they know? What do they mean by a qualified vendor? What does that term mean? Who wants to just take a guess? This is interactive.
Can deliver a service within the time. Quality.
Oh, Tamisha, I like that, because the root word is quality. Y'all ever think about that? A quality. But then what makes a quality vendor, Danola? What makes one quality?
It might be someone who's certified.
Okay, so certified might not mean qualified, though, right? I could certify a cup, a bottle, right? It's a certified bottle, but can it produce?
Yeah, and
Right?
do you have that expertise to be able to deliver?
Exactly.
And isn't every company going to have different variables or marks you have to hit? So it's going to be moving via whatever the company's expectations are that need to be achieved.
I love that, Sonia. So yes and no. And what I mean by that is every company has specific nuances, yes, but every company agrees on a minimal viable definition of qualified. Qualified looks a little something like this, you all. First of all, do you understand what you do? Is it priced simple enough that we can buy it? Do you have past performance, right? And can we trust the quality of your product, and can we trust you to be reliable? So at a very minimal, and the way that we know this, Sonia, is in the state of Indiana, we had multiple calls recently, discovery calls that Danola and Sandy were a part of. And we had maybe total about 12 companies, right? Different corporations, healthcare, medical, universities, Sonia. And we asked them, what does qualified mean at your company? And although they all had a small nuance, it was relatively similar. We want people who answer the phone after they get the contract. You'd be surprised how many people go ghost. They stop performing. I didn't know that was a thing, but it's a thing. We also want people who know what they know. Don't pretend. If you're not good at this, Carl, right? And not picking on you, Carl, I'm just calling names. If you're not good at it, don't pretend like you don't know. Show up with what you know. Be good at it. Because here's something I want you to always remember. These companies are paying for specialists, not generalists. Qualified, okay? But what is the difference between an RFP, an RFI, and an RFQ? People confuse that all the time. I'll tell you very simply. An RFQ is a request for a quotation. That means, Morgan, I just want to know how much it costs. I'll tell you right now, I've been going back and forth for 2 weeks with a third-party vendor that we want to use, and I've been asking this team, give me your fee schedule, give me your price list. How much is it for a list of services? And you know what they keep sending me? A 24-page deck, Yolanda. I don't want a 24-page deck. If I ask for the RFQ, how much are your prices? Have a fee schedule ready to give me. I only care about, right, the quotation. I don't need to be sold on anything else until I ask for the RFI. The RFI, Sonia, as you know, is the request for information. This is when it's appropriate to give me the backstory. Why did you start? Who have you worked with? What are the partners? I just want to know how much you charge, because if I'm asking you for RFQ, I already researched you. You're already good. I'm busy. So we're still not working together yet because they can't figure out how to give me a simple fee schedule. They're not making it easy, Danola, for me to say, yes, we give too much, right? But an RFP, you all, is encompassing of all those things. You're going to give me your price. You're going to give me your information, your backstory, and we're going to go into this when we get to the RFP section later in the months, okay? So I don't want to spend too much time here. And you're going to give me your approach. Request for proposal is you responding to how you would solve the problem I have. How are you going to deliver the products or service? And how much does it cost me? And why are you the right one, Hadassah? Right? So again, request for proposal. A fee schedule. How many people right here, and let's be really honest with each other, how many people right now have a fee schedule? A fee schedule is a menu of your prices. So if you look at number 3 on the screen, good job, Walker Piles. It's a list that shows how much your business charges for the products or services it intends to supply. It's simple. It's a simple picture. And Roxanne has a bomb fee schedule because I'm looking at doing some photography with her. Very easy to understand. Here's a little footnote. The simpler and the easier it is for me to see your prices and to say yes, Shonda, the faster I'm gonna say yes. If it's complicated and clunky, Angel, I'm gonna say no. It's too much. They're gonna ask you for your fee schedule. Sometimes they want that as a part of the MSA, the Master Service Agreement, or your SOW, the Statement of Work. Have your fee schedule ready, even before you need it. The next 3, Danola, would you read what we mean by supplier, vendor, contractor?
Absolutely. Supplier vendor contractor is a business or a service provider that sells its goods or services to another organization for a fee. That's
and who could that be on this call?
Me.
All of us. We are. Yeah. And I say that because you'd be surprised how many places I end up and we use the term supplier vendor contractor and the small business is saying, who is that? That's you in this relationship.
Yeah,
all
we
right.
need to get used to calling ourselves suppliers.
Yeah.
We are the suppliers. We're supplying the service.
There you go. Absolutely.
Prime contractor or tier 1 supplier. That's a business that works directly with a large company selling the products or services to them. That might be an overarching vendor supplier, but then you can have a subcontractor or a tier 2 supplier that is a business that works with that tier 1 instead of directly with the large client. Not everybody's going to be ready to be a tier 1. And because of that, we might come in as a tier 2 in order to get the experience and then demonstrate our expertise.
Yep. And you know what? Now, here earlier, I told you all that if you're trying to work with the government, you can't start day one, but you know what you can do, Roxanne? You know what you can do, Sonia and Shonda Roundtree and Tasha Dash? You can do one or two things, right? You can go to a prime. It's very Googleable, Tammy, as you know. You can research who is the federal government currently using for medical syringes or for military style, right, tents, right? Whatever it is you sell or offer, it's public information to find out who their current tier one is, who won that last contract. And if you need help with researching, that's what Michelle G's company does. Michelle, just wave. Michelle is Business Data Friends. It's her whole business model to find out who won the last contract or the award and how you can get connected. Y'all better know about these resources. Okay. So my point is the reason why you want to research the tier one or the prime is sometimes if you're just starting off, you want to come in as a tier two and support them. In fact, we just won a big government contract in Indiana, and we're utilizing Danola as one of the companies in Indiana as a tier two. Okay. All right. So I'm going to keep on going. Morgan, would you read these next three for me? Procurement, purchasing manager, and sector. What are those?
Yeah, we've got number 7, procurement, the process a company or government uses to find or source suppliers to buy goods or services from. We've got number 8, procurement / purchasing manager, the buying entity who purchases products, services, or goods needed to grow the organization they represent. Number 9, sector, a major part or area of the economy where businesses and governments operate and spend money for products, services, or goods.
Thank you so much, Morgan. So I want us to focus on number 9 for a second. Today, I'm going to show you that there are 4 sectors that we should be playing in and we're not. So when people come to us as a member and they say, "Oh, Nicole, I still haven't gotten a contract," and they can't even tell me what sector they work in or who their top 5 is, we can't do anything with that. Right? I'm just being very honest. So this is why we wanted to roll out this framework so people really understand the handoff of work between what we can do for you and what you must do for yourself. You must do this, right? You have to think critically about this. This is a different game. This is not about showing up the way that we've been as traditional small businesses, because there are some small businesses who will choose to stay small. But you all are here because you want to step into a competitive, a brand new environment. And some of you have already stepped into it. And Amanda, you still don't know why it worked. That's the thing. What good is it if it happened by accident and you can't duplicate it, Shonda? So we're here to give you the rules, the framework to really understand at scale how big this market is for you. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Finally, we got 14 terms, NAICS codes. How many people already know their NAICS codes? Just by a show of hands, you already know. Good job. So then what are NAICS codes? So let's talk about it. NAICS codes, which stands for North American Industry Classification System, is a 6-digit number used to classify businesses based on the type of products or service the business provides. Now, here's a fun fact. Carl, a lot of people confuse NAICS codes with commodity codes. I'm going to make it real simple right now. They're totally different. Don't look like a rookie in this game, okay? The NAICS code is the parent relationship. That's the top level of your business category, and you can have multiple categories. But then the commodity code is how we quantify the type of product you sell. So let me give you a real example. Let's say that I am a military fashion company or military attire company. There's a NAICS code for that type of company. It's a high-level business, not to be confused with product, a high-level business category. But then when I list all of the offerings in my fashion design company, hats, right? Mittens, blankets for the military, let's just say, these have different commodity codes. So it's a parent-child relationship. The NAICS code is the high level, the commodity code is the child, so to speak. And it's imperative that we know both and that they're on your capability statement, Hadassah, right? Make it easy for these people to do business with, because that's how they pay us, Tammy, right? When they're getting ready to pay us, they are matching it up to the NAICS code need and the commodity code need. So make it simple, all right? Awesome. Set-asides. What are set-asides? Danola, would you read set-asides for us, also called diverse?
Sure. Diverse spend refers to the amount of money or the opportunity that a company allocates or spends purchasing goods and services from businesses that are owned by historically marginalized groups.
So would you believe it that these corporations and governments already have money set aside to do business with women-owned companies, to do business with minority companies, to do business with veteran-owned companies, LGBT companies, persons with disabilities? There are already millions of dollars in set-asides. So we just have to know who has the money set aside, okay? Finally, I'll read these last. Certification eligibility. So what is the difference between me getting certified as a business, as a small business supplier or a woman-owned business supplier versus registration? I want to really pick this one apart. And if you left already, too bad. This is the most important, to me, the most important piece of the definition here. So certification, you all, is really about certifying that Dawn Nicole is, in fact, a woman-owned business, right? It is a third-party verification that says I am who I said I am. Because Roxanne, without a third party to certify me, I would be stuck having to self-certify. And the problem with self-certification, Sonia, is that while companies will accept a self-certification, they can't claim it on their spend. So they have reports that say they get reimbursed. It's called the $1 Billion Roundtable. You guys can look it up, right? So $1 Billion Roundtable used to be where all these companies aimed to go, and they wanted to showcase that they spend at least $1 billion with diverse businesses. The problem is I can't claim that spend as a self-certified. So while I can do business with you, it doesn't help me in the long run, Carl. So what happens is when you get a third party certification, right, now I can claim and get all my tax incentives. Now, the problem is, though, Maya, is that you can get certified. So here's what a lot of members are doing, right? And I'm not putting anyone on Front Street. I'm just sharing with you where we're seeing people go wrong. I will see members work their what's off to get certified for 90 days. Like, I'm going to pay the money. I'm going to get certified. They get the certification, and that's where it ends. Yay, I'm a certified veteran-owned business or woman-owned business. And they do nothing next, Bernard. The problem with that is that these companies don't know you exist. You still don't have what's called visibility. Visibility happens when you take the second step and you register in the supplier portals of the companies you want to work with. So there's a vast difference between certification and registration. Certified means I'm certified. Registered to do business with you is something else. That's kind of like going to college, getting your degree to work at a big company, and you never send a resume. You never apply for a job. So a lot of people are salty. I got the certification and nothing happened. Well, that's where it starts, not stops. That's why we made an emphatic step to really understand, right, or help everyone understand the difference between certification, which is about eligibility, versus registration, which is about visibility. Okay, and we're going to talk more about that as we move forward. Finally, what is a capability statement? Who wants to just come off mute? Hadassah, do you mind just reading the final one, a capability statement? What is that?
Sure. A short 1 to 2 page document that clearly explains your business's capabilities, i.e., what you offer to whom, what makes you different, why someone should feel confident doing business with you, and how to contact you.
Yes, thank you. Let me ask y'all a question. Some of you are going to be real mad at me for this. How many pages, what's the longest capability statement you all have seen? I've seen one that was almost 5 to 10 pages, which is way too long. What do y'all think it should be and why? Why should it be? Okay, so Sonia says 1 page. All right, Yolanda, what are your thoughts? Yolanda says at max 2 pages, right? If you must, 2 pages, right? Okay, good. Welcome, Soyini. Good to see you. Hello.
Hello. I'm sorry. I was listening through Carl's phone. I just couldn't get to it on my phone.
No, we know it was just so good to you. You just had to come and get it yourself. No worries. Awesome. All right. So now that we know this, let's get into this, you all. Check out this screen in front of you. What exactly are these corporations buying? This is the most important question at this moment. Dawn Nicole, you told us what's possible. You showed us the definitions. Now for the single most important question. What exactly are these corporate procurement teams buying, Dawn Nicole? And more importantly, Dr. Sandy, Are they buying what I offer? Y'all take a look at the screen I want y'all to look. Look at the products, first of all. They are buying pens, paper, printers. They're buying merchandise. Yolanda, they're buying branding merchandise, but you already know this because you're the brand therapist, aren't you? They're buying IT hardware, laptops, servers, furniture, desks. They're buying food and beverage, Karima. You're no stranger to that. Some of them have already bought from you, right? They're buying eco-friendly packaging, Tasha. Look, y'all, for the goods, they're buying construction materials, medical supplies. We've already had Atrium Healthcare buy medical supplies from 2 of our members, right, during the hurricanes. They're buying toner, cleaning, consumer packaged goods. I'll let y'all read. And then look at the services, audio, visual. That's you, Angel, right? Entertainment, training, speaking, marketing, branding, photography, Roxanne, consulting, Hadassah, legal compliance, auditing, HR, Tammy and Denola. So here's my question for everybody right now. As you take a look, I would take a picture of this because the next question is going to challenge you. Here's the question. Type 1 in the chat if you just saw something on the list that you offer and tell us what it was. But type 2 in the chat if you do not see what you offer, and we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to give y'all a few minutes to type in the chat. And if I could get Denola and Morgan and Angel to let me know, what does the chat say? The chat is hot right now. What is it saying?
We're getting consulting, we're getting HR, we're getting branding, janitorial, marketing, photography,
Woo!
training and consulting, recruiting, which is under HR. We see a lot of ones, but they didn't necessarily put what they were. Branding, training, speaking, photography, training, consult. Oh my gosh, so many things.
Oh, many. Okay.
Beverage. Oh, there's one, beverage.
Okay. Are there any 2s? Are there any 2s in the chat?
I don't see any 2s yet. Let me see. I'm still. Oh, Josie said 2.
Uh-oh. We're getting ready to dig into it. Did Josie say what she offered in the chat?
She didn't. Josie, you want to come off mute and tell us what you offered that you don't think is up there?
Josie might be preoccupied.
Okay, I know Angel's the one that typed it in for her.
Oh, okay. So let's keep going. All right. So any more
No,
2s?
Josie wrote 2 and then I just typed it because it went up so fast.
Okay.
Oh, I
Yes.
see.
Hello.
I see.
Greetings.
Thank you.
Greetings to all. Hi. I offer health and wellness service where a product like stem cell patches,
Uh-huh.
where it elevates your own cells and it brings you back to a healthier you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to explore that on the
Okay.
next page, Josie. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any more 2s? I'm interested in the people who think, because I love a good challenge, y'all. Who thinks that what you offer is not buyable? It's not up here. I want to hear from you. Is there any more 2s before we go to the next
I don't
page?
see any more 2s.
All right, let's get on with it then. So here's the deal, you all. Here's the deal. Take a look at this. These are considered atypical, oddball. You would be surprised that people spend millions, billions in the things you think they're not buying. So Shonda, take a look at this. Look at these atypical services. Pest waste removal. You could start right now a company if you wanted to, Amanda, saying, you know what? My company, K9 and Friends, we pick up pest waste and you'd get all of the business from Park and Recreation. But who wants to do that? But I'm just saying they're looking for these oddball services. And look at this. Interpretation of rare languages. True story. In February, we had First Citizens Bank reach out with an emergency RFP. And they said, Dawn Nicole, we can't find this anywhere. We hope that Queen City Women in Business can help us, because back then we were Queen City Women in Business. They said, we are looking for a company, preferably woman-owned at the time, who can do interpretive American Sign Language. They need to be an ASL. So there's a whole certification around American Sign Language. And when we, as First Citizens Bank, has our job interviews, Tammy, and we have people who are hearing impaired, we need a company to vend with, and we can't find anyone. And what did we do? We worked really, really hard, and we pulled in Monique Lewis's company, who is not a member, but we did boots on the ground. We brought her in, and from what I understand, she's negotiating that contract today. Don't think that people don't buy things. They do. And take a look at this, you all. They're buying trophies. They're buying eco-friendly pest control, right? Commercial promotional packaging, portable toilets. But they're also buying ADA compliance testing for websites. Who knew? Closed caption, virtual reality training, AI prompt writers, Mika, right? So there's a lot of things that people are buying. Josie, what I would suggest is let's get together during your 15-minute discovery call. By the way, y'all, Josie is a brand new member. She just signed up yesterday, so we're just going to give her a quick applause and welcome her. Josie, you're going to get a free 15-minute discovery call. Talk to your certified supplier consultant around how to match your skills, your trades, what you offer with our corporate partners, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Awesome. So with that being the case, is there anything on this list that shocks you all or surprises you? Anybody? Anybody shocked or surprised to see something on this list? No? It's about right. With that being the case, you all, let's talk about your NAICS codes. So you all said earlier that you know your NAICS codes. Is there anyone who doesn't know their NAICS codes? Is there anyone? Okay, Sonia, we have a little exercise here in just a few minutes because some of you have your NAICS code, but you haven't decided what's your primary NAICS code, okay? Which is important because a lot of these companies are going to ask you to choose one. All right, so let's get into this. So real fast, just a reminder, the NAICS code is that 6-digit number that classifies your business type. Does it classify your product or your business type? Who's listening for the people in the back?
Business type.
Thank you, because a lot of people, right, will get that wrong. So again, it's going to classify the type of business where commodity code is classifying the type of product, right? And then NPG codes, those are going to be for our product people. So Karima may know about this and Tania, but when you start selling on store shelves, NPG categories is what Harris Teeter and Food Lion and Kroger and some of these stores are going to use to classify, right, where things are. So that's the retail world, okay? So here's a quick thing. If you don't know your NAICS code, now you can take the picture. You're going to go to this website to verify that you still have the right NAICS code. Because Bernard, what some people don't know is every now and then the federal government updates NAICS codes, right? So you got to just make sure you're going to check this site. Now that I showed you the hard way, Tasha Dash, we're going to do a fun exercise. Let's do something easy. I want everybody on this call in real time, because we're a real time type of tribe here. We're going to translate just one of your key products, goods, or services into a NAICS code in real time. Here's how we're going to do this, Shonda. I'm going to have y'all right now, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to launch either ChatGPT or Google, right? Any AI engine, it could be Gemini, it could be whatever you like. But here's what I want you to do. I don't want you to tell me the NAICS code that you are already using. I want you to take your key product, your main thing that you want to be known for, your hero. Take it and do a clear, simple description in either ChatGPT or Gemini or Google and say, can you give me the correlating NAICS code for this? So I'm going to give everybody a minute to do it, even if you already know it. Okay, so I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes to recheck your NAICS code. Is anybody confused on the instruction or is everyone clear? Just give me a thumbs up if you're clear. Awesome. So let me give everybody a few minutes because then we're gonna share it with each other. Danola, could you play some theme music? Would you sing the Jeopardy theme song? Just kidding.
Give me stuff on this.
Let's do it, Danola. Sing. Come on, Danola. Ding, ding.
Do, 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 do.
Oh, very nice.
Do, 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 do.
Break it down. No, just kidding. I'm sorry, y'all. I cut up a little bit.
Look, we got a lot of people already putting their NAICS codes in the thing. When you put it in, though, don't just put the number. Put what it means. What does that mean?
What does it mean? We're going to give one more minute. Again, I'm looking for your primary NAICS code. So this is why I want you to take the lead thing. And when you find out your NAICS codes, y'all are going to be tempted to give me a bunch of them. But if you had to pick one, I want to hear everybody's primary one, why you chose it, what does it mean? So we're getting ready to go around in a second. So I'm going to give y'all one more minute while I turn on some air because it's hot where I'm at. I'll be right back. One more minute.
Anybody have a question about getting to your NAICS code? If you do, you can message me on chat and I'll see if I can help you directly.
All right. So I'm back and Danola, we're getting ready to share And I'm just going to pick on, we have time to hear from 4 people. So I'm going to start with Danita Williams. Danita, come off mute. Hey there, Danita, all the way from not Philadelphia. Is it Philly or
No,
Pittsburgh?
Poconos in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Okay, okay. Give us, what is your primary NAICS code? What does it mean and why did you choose that one?
My primary NAICS code is 54164612, which is HR consulting, because I provide HR onboarding and orientation services, and and through those services, I help small businesses be compliant and helping them hire the right employee at the right salary while protecting their bottom line.
Okay, Danita, that NAICS code did not say all of that. You done added your own jazz and spice. Yo, I'm like, wait a minute. That thing was custom built just for you, Danita. No,
that's my little plug.
Yeah, I see. Okay, y'all pick it up what she's putting down. Okay. All right, all right, Bernard, what came out to be your primary NAICS code and what does it mean?
Yes, so it came out as the new single family construction of homes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Now, is that a surprise? Were you already using that NAICS code or that's not shocking to you, is it?
Yeah, it's a little of a surprise because it has this new single family home. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're going to talk about why this is so important because some of you are like, why is she having us do this? And of course, in true Dawn Nicole fashion, I'm going to close with a point on how somebody lost a lot of money by not answering the simple question. Okay, so thank you, Bernard. I have room. One more person who would like to share. Just raise your hand if you'd like to share yours. All right, so we're going to let Tasha Dash go and then Roxanne go.
Okay, so I was a little surprised too because I've been using the consulting one. And so, but I've transitioned to training so I can be able to get the contracts with corporate. And so primary one is 611430. It's professional and management development training.
Awesome. Okay, good. And that's what I said. It will surprise you. So awesome. Roxanne, I'm very curious to know yours as a photographer.
Yeah, so 541921 photography studios portraits is like a little bit more of my portrait stuff and branding for a personal brand. But 541922 is commercial photography and branding for like I just booked a small realtor team and office, and I am investing in how to send custom proposals. That's the thing I'm doing this month. So I'm really excited to be able to like increase my capacity to like show up as the expert I am.
Awesome. So let me just tell you what I love about, first of all, I'm grateful that all of you just shared, but Roxanne, I want you to overuse that 54122, if I got that right and went by memory, because what she just said is so important. Let me tell you why. Sometimes when we do NAICS codes, they're pointed to the wrong audience because we're used to serving a small business market. But once you get into this game, you absolutely need to know the NAICS code that the corporate and government buyers are using for what you do. It may not be what you call it. Here's a real story that I'm gonna close this particular piece with. We had a woman, and I'm gonna stop saying the name because I'm sure this will get back to her, but we had a woman-owned company maybe a little over a year ago who had a marriage company, right? It was she was selling her services on Instagram and YouTube, and it was brand influencer style, okay? And it was basically I heal your marriage. I'm not going to use the name, but it was about healing marriages, right? Especially urban marriages. And I remember that she was preparing to come into the corporate arena to figure out who is my customer. And the problem, you all, is that the government and corporations are not necessarily in the market of purchasing marital help. I'm just going to be honest. Now, that might be on some employee support program, but as a direct primary thing, they're not buying it. And her unwillingness to convert and translate what she used to do, I hope y'all hear me, into how do I make this make sense now for corporations? They're not buying marriage stuff, Soyini, but you know what they are buying, Yolanda? They're buying mediation support. They're buying conflict resolution training and facilitation, Tammy, right? They're buying teaming, helping different personalities get along, and it's called something. And so all she had to do was translate what we call the lay term that works on Instagram. How do I translate that? And as Michelle will tell you, one of our most popular workshops that came from that problem was how to translate your skills into commodities that companies buy. Michelle still talks about that workshop today. All right. So this is why it's so important to understand translation, because when they find you in a profile, they're typing on that NAICS code and you need to make sure it speaks to their language. All right. So let's keep going. All right. Now we're going to talk about the 4 sectors. Where do y'all fit? Here's the 4 sectors. We have a corporate sector. Did you know that? There's a local and city government sector. So local means city where you live and county where you live. There's state government and federal government. There are 4 sectors to contracting, and nobody is breaking it down like this, Danita. Everybody is approaching contracting like one big mass, but they're totally different, Sonia. So let's break it down, okay? Remember, a sector is a major part or area of the economy where businesses and governments operate and spend money. That term is really important here, because here's why the sectors matter. They all have their own budgets. And Carl and Soyini, they all have their own requirements. This is really key. And if you don't know this, you cannot play the game. So when people come to me and they say, I haven't had any success, they have no idea though. You have to do your part. Doing your part is doing the research to understand who buys what I offer by sector. And we're going to teach you how to get those answers. So number 1, let's break it down. What do I mean by corporate? You will sometimes hear this called private sector, Maya. So private sector is like Lowe's. Maya is already partnered with Lowe's. She's selling her smoothies in their corporate campus, right? So a corporation or a private sector company is a large to mid-sized national, regional, or local corporation that buys goods and services to help run or grow their company. Think of a bank contracting a cleaning service or buying branded merchandise, Yolanda, from a marketing company. This is the corporate sector. The question you have to ask yourself is, am I going to play in one or all? And if the answer is all, I don't recommend you try to do it competitively at the same time. You will have a full-time job playing hopscotch. We are going to show you how to go about figuring out who wants to be with me. How do I date these 4 and figure out where I fall? We're going to talk about that, okay? The second thing, now this one is really big. Your local government consists of the city where you live or the county where you live. So local city or county offices are agencies that purchase from small businesses to serve their communities. Angel Taylor, think of the city or county parks department contracting a landscaping company or your entertainment company, Soulful Sounds, for its Summerfest. Now, do you still think it's not a good idea to build a relationship with your local county? Right? So this is what I'm saying to people. True story, you guys. In January, I got a phone call from our county here where I'm at. And they said, Dawn Nicole, please tell the small businesses that we have billions of dollars in contracts to spend. Nobody is checking for us. Everybody is looking to work with corporate or federal government. And it's like they forgot that right here in their backyard, there's billions. That's every city in America, every county. And it's all public information. If you go to your county website, it's right there. The names of the people who purchased, it's right there. It's all right there in front of you. But we see the shiny object syndrome, right? The big companies, and we spend all of our time going after them. There are people making a killing who only work in their local city and county. So that's sector number 2. But then, Dr. Sandy, we have sector number 3, the state government, okay? We have the state government. I'm going to answer questions in just a second, and then we then have the state government. So just to be clear, you have your corporations, you have your local city and county, but then you have the state of Indiana, the state of Illinois, the state of New York, the state of North Carolina, South Carolina. And they have a different purse than city and county, right? And so a state agency is, think of a state Department of Transportation hiring a construction firm like Bernard's. And then finally, you have Big Brother Federal, the federally run agencies. Think of the Department of Defense buying office supplies or IT support. Now you can take the picture. Sonia, you have a question.
It wasn't exactly a question. I just was reiterating your local city and county because I just registered my company in North Carolina and they sent me a whole resource of links of how I can get business and it's for free to, it's not like I have to pay to
That's
get
right.
onto the website. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Oh, Sonia, thank you for that because I appreciate you saying that because I think we forget, like I said, we get so fascinated with the big corporations that we grew up using, right? IBM, Microsoft, and we go the hard way, right? And we totally forget in our backyard, these people are desperately, like, I can't even make this. When I got the phone call, it was like, please tell your people we are here and we buy everything. Okay, so this is
That's
so
good to, I mean, Sonia, I want to just piggyback on that. I had registered probably a month ago and I get almost daily things to bid for. Like it literally comes to, and I'm applying right now for local city and county
I love that.
as we speak. So yeah, it's North Carolina. I wasn't expecting that. I thought I was going to have to spend some time.
None.
It comes right to your email.
Right to your email. And so Yini, that's because it's scarce. Like it's not the most competitive sectors, you all, is number 1 and number 4. Right. And people totally forget. They totally forget about these two, which means if you're just starting low hanging fruit, come on to the local city. My very first contract that was so easy that I forgot to count as a contract was we did a 3-day training day for a county municipality back in 2017. And I never counted it as a contract. But but as I got mature in this, I was like, hey, I did business already, right?
Right.
So it's much easier, you all. But we're gonna keep going. But just so take the picture. Now that you're aware, be aware. Okay. It's about knowing. Finally, here's the deal. Now, this is going to be the deepest part of this conversation. So follow me here with our almost 30 minutes left. Okay. Although each of the 4 sectors aim to do business with all of you on this call, they have different rules, Shonda. So it's just like I can't go to Olive Garden with a Red Lobster discount coupon. It's not going to work, right? Even though they're all restaurants, I need to know who I'm walking into. So let's break it down. So remember, we just talked about the 4 sectors. And the first thing I need to tell you is if you are going to start dating, what I call dating the 4 sectors. Now, why am I using this terminology, Tammy? It's because sometimes when you're a new business, or maybe you're not new, Sonia, but you're new to this game, right? You're new to contracting. You don't know who likes you yet. So you might have to talk to all 4 to figure out where you fit. Nothing wrong with that, right? Talking to them. But you got to learn pretty early who's serious, Soyini, and who's wasting your time, right? So here's how you do that. Here's what you need to know if you're going to date all 4 while you figure it out. Number 1, you're going to have to register in all 4. Because registering directly with corporations doesn't automatically put you in the local city and state, right? Or the local city and county, or the state or the federal. People fail to realize this. There's a registration process. All 4 need to know your name. You must be visible. And here's the thing I want to say about the top one. The corporations are the only sector, hear me very well, where you have to register from company to company. What I'm saying is that if you're looking to work with big corporate and Lowe's is on your list, you got to work with Lowe's, but Microsoft is on your list. Microsoft, Golf PGA is on your list. You got to go register for Golf PGA. NFL, you want to serve NFL as you have porta potties, you have to register independently for every single corporation you want to work with. But unlike the corporations, Yolanda, this is the kicker, is once you come down to these federal, right? The local city federal, the state federal, and the SAMS federal, you register one time in the city or county that you want to do business with. And by registering in my city or county, I immediately have access to all of the RFPs that service the universities, the park, the zoo, right? The tourism. So it's usually one to many here. I just want to be very clear that when I start talking city and county and state agency registry in sam.gov, I can do it one time usually for that respective county and city, but that doesn't work for corporations. If I want to work with 10 corporations this year, I need to register respectively for the 10 supplier portals. We're going to get into that next month. Okay. I'm going to keep going for the sake of time. So again, here's the rules of dating all 4 sectors. Number 1, I must register as a vendor supplier in each of the 4 sectors, right? For them to know me. That's how I get visibility. But then number 2, here's the kicker, Soyini. Now I have to meet whatever supplier requirements each sector is going to ask me for. So even though there's been a lot of change, I'm not going to get political, but I'm going to keep it real. There's a lot of change happening right now in the White House. And everybody is wondering, are these companies, Maya, still going to care that I'm a minority? That's a bad word now, right? Minority, woman, small. We're not allowed to like categorize anymore. So what happens to the certifications? Until you hear otherwise, you are still going to do what these companies tell you to do. That's the answer. Still play the game until it goes away. There is a world that can exist where in the future, you will only be in one category. No matter what color you are, what background, we'll all be small business owners, right? And we have the SBE, which stands for Small Business Enterprise. But for right now, if each of these sectors require a certain certification, you will have to get it to be competitive in each sector. Okay, I want to be clear. The reason I'm overemphasizing this is many of our members will get the corporate certification. They'll go get the WeBank, Tammy. They'll get the minority certification, Danita, right? Which is only good for corporate. And then they'll try to cash it in with local city and county and say, hey, I'm already certified as a minority. And they will say, you don't have our certification. Each of these sectors have different certification requirements. Okay. Finally, they may have different past performance criteria for you. Okay, so they may this one may not have any past performance requirements, while local city may, state agency, and definitely federal will. Does anyone have any questions around this particular page before we move on? Awesome. All right, let's keep going. So which of the 4 sectors resonate with you all most and why? Come off mute or put in the chat, raise your hand if you want to tell me what sector do you want to start in or are you currently pursuing and why? All right, Yolanda?
So I would have thought the corporate, because that's where I've already got some tentacles. But now as I look at this, I'm thinking you might want to go local city just to be able to play with some of the companies in your backyard and get to the university. So this just made me rethink. I mean, I'm not going to say I won't do that, but you're right. That's a much harder play. I mean, I'm in 3 major companies, but still getting to other ones is hard.
Yes. Yes. And I will tell you, it's much easier to build relationships at the city and county level. You know why, y'all? Because they're paid to be accessible to you. They are public figures. Their information, their email is on the website, right? They have to do things. So the city holds them accountable for being accessible to you. So it's much easier to date, so to speak, in that sector. So Yini, you were going to say something before we move on?
I was just agreeing with Yolanda. I was thinking corporate or federal because I've done the registration and everything, but the local and county, I mean, it's literally my wheelhouse, the things that have been coming to my mailbox. So that's what I am pursuing as we speak.
Awesome. I love it. One more person. What sector resonates with you most and why after seeing this chart? One more person.
I'll speak if no one else jumps in.
Yeah, go ahead.
But it's definitely local for me. I've built a lot of relationship, and like you said, they're so accessible. You can go there and talk to them, and they know a lot of people too. So once you get in good with them and they feel like you're doing well, they will connect you to other people. And for me, it's all about proximity. That's my word for the rest of the year.
Oh, I love that.
Love it. Able to get close to those people and build that relationship.
Good job. I love it. Love it. Great. Thank you all so much for volunteering. We're going to move on in the interest of time. So this is probably one of the most important slides. Now that you understand the sectors, let's break down the certifications by sector. We're going to do it in about 60 seconds. Watch me work. All right. So I just told you there were 4 sectors. So in the corporate sector, and you can take a picture of it at the end, but in the corporate sector, you all, here's who they care about. They care about you getting certified by these particular bodies: WeBank, Novoba, NMSDC, Disability In, and NGLCC. So right here in this pocket, the corporations are saying, you might have a certification, all right, but if it's not certified by our recognized certifying bodies, it doesn't count. So again, this is where I'm saying you have to have the right certification for the right sector. I cannot tell you how many of our members will confuse this and go to an event, and just because they have a federal government one, right, they'll say, oh, I'm certified, and you're not, right? So it's important to know this stuff. Number two, the state government, right? The state government has different certification bodies that they honor. Take a good look at the screen. No matter what city and state you are in, it's usually called the state hub office. I know, for example, in North Carolina, it's North Carolina hub. In Texas, it's Texas hub, right? And it stands for historically underutilized business. This is where you can get your hub, your NCDOT, right? Or your Department of Transportation, your DBE, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, not to be confused with the federal DBE. It's very confusing, you all, because they reuse the same terms, okay? So again, take a look at the state governing bodies, all right? Also, in Indiana, they have IDOA. So all you have to do is search, what are my state certifications as a minority small business supplier? That's what you're going to search on to understand what certifying body do they honor, okay? Next, city and county. Take a good look at this one, you all. Here's something you should know. Usually with city and counties, usually, more than not, local cities and counties will honor what you got from the state. So while you have to still register, so as you can see, they still require that you register, like Soyini and like Sonia said, oftentimes the MWSBE, which stands for Minority Woman Small Business Enterprise, they will honor the state version. Now, there are a couple of cases like in Indiana and Indianapolis, where Indianapolis will give you its own. Not every city has capacity. So I want to be clear. There's not a lot of cities whose teams are big enough to handle their own city version and county version, which is why they will honor what your state gave you, but still have you register to do business here. And then finally, federal government, you all take a look at this. You want to work with big federal? Okay, you want to work with the Department of Agriculture, USDA, FEMA? Then you're going to need some of these, right? The WASB, which is very popular for women, a women-owned small business, or the Economically Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, right? The EWWOSB. These acronyms are crazy, and that's why it's so hard for people to get right. So this is going to be your best picture. Feel free to take a picture of this. These are the certifications by sector. Okay, so I'll give everybody a moment to take a picture of this. Danola, can you confirm if this is in their participant guide or not?
It is not.
Okay, we're going to have to, in the future, put this in the participant guide so that people don't have to rely on the picture. So that's a good takeaway for us. All right, y'all, we're almost at the end. We're going to keep on moving. Are there any questions about this before we move forward? Yes.
I had a question. So I am applying for the hub zone for federal. Would that go across any of the other sectors, or is just for the federal?
Yes, so Soyini asked a good question that people get confused all the time because they make it confusing. The term hub zone is applicable at a state level. As you can see, there's a hub zone at state, and then there's one at federal. And Soyini has applied for the federal, and it is only good for the federal because, believe it or not, the federal hub is different from the state hub. Not to be confused.
Even though they're using your address in the state you're in. Okay, I got you.
Yep, that is correct. And that's why we put this together, because people are like so confused. So is this helpful, you all, to see it broken down by sector?
Absolutely. That's why it triggered.
Good. Good. And personally, between you and I, we are personally as a company going out for our 8A next. And you only can play in the 8A ball game when you've got some years of experience. And this is going to guarantee a certain amount of contracts to us.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna keep going so that we can do what we need to. So we talked about set-asides and diverse spend. Who can just remind us, what does this mean? What does this mean? Morgan, can you just remind us what diverse spend means?
Yeah, diverse spend refers to the amount of money that a company spends purchasing goods and services from businesses that are owned by underrepresented or historically marginalized groups such as women, minorities, veterans, LGBTQ+ individuals, and people with disabilities.
Awesome. You can stop there, Morgan. So here's my question. How many of these categories do you all fall into per sector? Put it in the chat. Do you fall into all? And you don't have to tell all your business, but I'm just saying, do you fall into 1, 2, 3, all? So do you fall into multiple sectors? I'm curious, how many people on this call can actually say, I check the box for multiple? And if I do, Danola, do I need to go get a certification for each one? Let's talk about it. How many people check the box for multiple? What are you seeing?
We got a lot of 2s and 3s.
Okay, 2s and 3s. So what do y'all think? Before I answer the question, let me ask you, should you be out here trying to chase every single certification that you fall into? Or what is your thinking around if you fall into multiple boxes, how many certifications do you need? Curious. There's no right or wrong. I just want to know how y'all are thinking about it. Sonia?
I would probably go for the low hanging fruit, whatever I think that is, sort of match it back, just because it just don't have all the time to do every certification.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Because you could turn into a world-class certification getter, right? And now that becomes your job. Awesome. Right. Well, anybody else before I give you my answer?
This is Dr. Sandy. No, you don't need to go after all of them.
Right.
It just depends on where you're focusing your energy at for what certification you need to start with.
Awesome. So the key word is start. So let me tell you this, whatever you do, please start. Don't let complexity stop you from starting. So let me give you my best answer, what I did, okay? When I started this particular company, we've had a lot of businesses, but when we started this one, which has not been in business 2 years yet, we've done a lot of things and we're not even 2 years old. The first thing I did, you all, is we went for the WeBank. We went for that WeBank, which is the corporate sector. But Yolanda, what a lot of people don't know is when you apply for the WeBank, there's also a section on that application that says, while you're here, would you like us to also go after your WOSB, the federal, the WOSB, the federal space? I said yes. And in 90 days, we became certified both in the corporate sector and the federal sector. Now, here's the other kicker, Tammy. While we were waiting for the application to be approved, we took the same documents, because you got to compile all those docs. And I just said, well, heck, why not just submit to the city, right, of Charlotte at the time in the state? Why not just do it? I got the same docs. We submitted and ended up having the city certification ahead of the WeBank and WOSB. What am I saying is that today I am certified to do business in every single sector. Now, it hasn't served me, like I haven't had to use everyone, but the reason why a company like us wanted to be certified in all 4 sectors is to service you. The nature of our business is to go get contract opportunities and build relationships to bring back to you in every sector. So what I'm saying is just start somewhere. Start somewhere and move as needed. Don't let complexities stop you. All right, so Suzette, you had a question?
No, I didn't. I was just going to chime in on what you was asking earlier.
Oh, go ahead, Suzette. You can chime in.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that I thought it would be easier to go with the one that has the most leverage for your business. Like, whether if you're a veteran and you're targeting something of that nature, it'll probably be better to go with that specific certification versus one with the women's own law, et cetera. Or if you're working with someone who, wants specifically a company who has disabilities, then maybe go with that versus going with one that has no leverage on what you're applying for, no bearings.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that. She's right. So we talked about common terms, right? So I'm going to just run through this very, very fast. So we talked about procurement, you all, very quickly. Quick story. If a company has needs right now, Soyini, and they start the process of looking for people, that process is called procurement, right? If they like what they see and they want to make you an offer, that's called contracting, okay? If they don't find the first person and they need to find multiple people, that's called solicitation of services, y'all. If they like what you have, Yolanda, and they're saying, you know what, I like what you have, but I need to see your fees, they're really asking for a fee schedule, which is a menu, a simple listing of your fees. It is not a 24-page doc. Then if you win the business, Carl, you have won in what's called an award. So the right term in these streets, right, so that you all can look like pros, is make sure you say who won the contract award. That is the right language to use, not who won the contract, but who did the award go to. Okay. Now, when you win that business, Hadassah, and you are managing that relationship, you are the tier one. But if you have to turn around and pull in Amanda's company to get it done, she becomes a tier two. Okay. Because you had to get help from tier twos. And if she's on the project with you, she should never be representing her own company. When you are the tier one and you pull her in as the tier two, that relationship is between Amanda and you, not Amanda and IBM. I'm making that real clear because some people don't know how to be subs, right? So you got to make it clear. All right, so now that we did that story time, we're going to just talk about the right mindset. If you take a look at the screen, we broke mindset down to make it look like this. And how are you doing these things today? We're at the end, so we're getting ready to close out. Mindset to be a supplier, not just a small business, but now y'all are coming into this market to compete at the highest level. Here's what they want to see, Soyini, because they hire experts and not generalists. They want to see that you've mastered your craft. You're the best of the best. How do we show them that, y'all? What is a document that helps us to showcase that mastery? What do you think that is? Somebody could come off mute and tell me.
Capabilities.
Awesome. You better have a strong capability statement that shows I am the best of the best, and here is why. Nobody does it like us, and here's why. Okay. But they also want to see innovation. Tammy, one of those Indiana corporations said, yeah, we have a few people that we're currently contracting with, but they haven't given nothing new in 3 years. They got comfortable. So what could we do? Yeah, just yell it out to me. What is a way we can show a current vendor that we've innovated? What might be something that we could do? Who can just think of what that might look like? How do we show them we're innovating? Hadassah.
Updated websites.
Updated website, but what else? An email that says we've got something new. Let me just tell y'all how I roll. Every single time we have a new feature or something new, all of our corporations in our resource pipeline get the email. And then I say, can we take 30 minutes to talk about what this means for your organization? Keep them guessing. Be mysterious, y'all. Okay, negotiating the best price. When is this important? When do y'all think negotiation is very important? Why is this important? And when? Who knows? Negotiating.
When there's a lot of competition.
Yes. Roxanne, when there's a lot of competition. And another thing to add on to what Roxanne says, what if Roxanne's prices right now are $9.99 per person? And I'm making this up because I don't have it by memory, but they're $999 for a session. But Bank of America says, Roxanne, we want you to shoot our whole C-suite, and this is going to be about 45 people. Should Roxanne negotiate her price down because it's scale?
That's why I'm doing custom proposals.
Yes. This is where I'm going with this. You picking up what I'm putting down, right? So this is where negotiation matters too. When you have a situation at scale, do not steadfast at maintaining your market rate. They want to see that you gave them a price break, okay? Dependable resource, doing what you promise and fulfilling your obligation on time and on budget, being reachable. Successful track record. Again, the capability statement will show this. Excellence. What is something you can do, you all, right off the bat to show that you're excellent? I'm not talking about average or good. I mean, at your first meeting, what might be something demonstrated that shows you're showing up in excellence? I just want to hear what y'all think that is.
Make sure you research your company.
You
go in there, you saw their LinkedIn post, you read their newsletter, you saw the new and talk to your local reference librarian who can help you with that.
Yes. She took the words out of my mouth, you all. When you show up, hurt yourself if you must to show them you've researched them. I really like the new newsletter. I see you all opened up a new office in Houston. How's that going? Are there opportunities for us to support that? Show that you know something about the company. The number one complaint we get is people don't research. They treat everything like a one size fits all, okay? And finally, trusted results, being consistent in your product or service delivery, all right? This is the mindset that helps you compete at the highest level. Now, as we come to a close, we're going to close out with a discovery session that is a self-assessment. We call this, you all, the 7 C's of foundational fitness. And it goes a little something like this. Now, y'all should have this in your participant guide. So let me take it to you like this, because you guys are going to grade yourself. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to look at capabilities. You're going to look at capital. We're going to look at communicating the problem you solve. We're going to look at capacity, your certifications. How competitive are you? And by how competitive are you, do you know what your competition charges? Do you know who they work with? Yes or no? And then connections. So let's start from the top. Capabilities. These are the skills, expertise, or resources that make you and your company the best at what you do. You are going to power away on delivering the highest quality product or service. But when is the last time you updated your capability statement and, more importantly, sent it out proactively? So what I want you to do on your participant guide or on your person or on your notes, be honest. Write a response right here, right? So column 2 is designed for you to respond to this question or this thought. When is the last time? Has it been updated in the past 90 days? Because I'm going to tell all of y'all something. There's something you learned. There's something you've done. There's a problem you solved. There's someone you've met in the past 90 days that needs to be reflected on that capability statement. It is a living, breathing document, and not just updating it in 90 days, but what is your system of sending it out to people? So let's be real honest. Now that you gave an honest response, rank yourself. Does this need improvement? 1 is low. Like, you know what? I haven't even touched that thing since I built it. Right? Or a 2 or a 3, a 4 or a 5 is the highest. Are you rocking and rolling? Are you the queen or king of capability, or do you need some work here? So give yourself a 1 through 5 score before we go to the next question. Question 2. We're going to talk about financial resources for a second. I told you about the story of Maya, and I hope Maya doesn't mind me picking on her. So Maya is good financially. Let me just first say that we love Maya. But I just told you that a major corporation needed a financial statement and financial affirmation that she met with someone and that her concession stand could withstand for 6 months without guaranteed profitability. So here's the question for you. Capital is really about understanding the financial resources needed to sustain and grow your business for the next 6 months and beyond. Do you, first of all, know what that number is? Let's be very honest, you all. Think about your business. How much does it take to operate your business month over month? Like, be for real. And do you have 6 months of capital accessible to you? And you ain't got to tell me, we don't got to put your business out there. If you don't, and you don't know who to call, right? Oh, I should have been, right? Then put a response. Say, you know what? I need some work right here. So put a response there and then give yourself a ranking. 1 is, you know what? I need a lot of help here, right? Or 5 is, I'm doing all right. So let us know, okay? Not let me know, but I'm saying you tell yourself. You ain't got to let me know. Now, of course, if you need help with this, we have an ecosystem of partners to support you, just like we did Maya. And we're not in your business. What we do is we connect you, and then what happens is between you and that resource partner, okay? Next, this one is huge. Uh-oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Communicating the problem you solve, and I'm going to try to move us forward quickly. Communicating the problem you solve. Why is this on here? This seems so elementary, Yolanda. I'll tell you why. We literally had 2 to 3 corporations beg of us to put this in here. You know why, Tammy? Because apparently there was a lot of small businesses that when they got on the phone with these people, they were so theatrical and word soup that they didn't know how to clearly say what they do, Miss Teresa. And as a result, the person couldn't go back and tell the procurement officer what y'all do. Because people would use words like transformational, life-changing, right? And they don't need all that. They need a clinical definition of what you do that's so clear, Suzette, that when you're not in the room to explain, it is still precisely clear. And it needs to be clinical clear. I don't mean illustrative and theatrical and artsy. I mean clinical. What is the clinical definition? If you need help with this, Wikipedia is a great look at how some of these companies term themselves. Very clinical. So here's my question to you. How well are you presenting your business's value when you're not in the room to explain it? Have you tested it out? Here's a great way to test it out, Hadassah. Ask somebody else, hey, what do I do in my business? What do you mean? Tell me what I do. Introduce me. If they get it all wrong, this means you're not clear. Okay? And ask someone to go to your website as a test. Ask them to do it this week. Hey, as a quick test, go to my website and summarize for me what you think we do and who we do it for. Okay. Test it out. Clear communication. So rank yourself. Are you a 1? Are you a 2, a 3? Or are you killing it? Are you a 5? Okay. Capacity. What is your capacity to handle large projects? Now, let me tell you how I get to this. This is really important. I want all of you to think about your business today. How much can you handle humanly? Meaning, how many people realistically could only you handle a month? If it were just you, what is that capacity? Right? And then ask yourself, if a big company does give you the project, Suzette or Sonia, and they tell you that they need you to do what you do for 300 people, how many people would you need? And do you have those people at the ready? Have you already had conversations, Danola, with people who can support you should you get a big project? That is capacity. What is your current level of preparedness to handle large contracts, right, or production? Do you know what that is? Tania, this one's for you as well. You are in the business of painting, custom artwork. How many pieces can you do before you need help? And have you already brokered those relationships with other artists should you get that, right? So rank yourself. Are you a 1? Are you a 5? Do you need to go have conversations? Okay. Certifications. How are we doing here, you all? Based on the category that you just told me you want to work in, the sector, do you have that certification today, or are you still working on it? So be honest, respond here, and then rank yourself. 1 means, girl, I haven't started a thing, Dawn Nicole. I need to start. But 3 is, you know what? I started and I'm going to send it this week. 4 is, honey, I sent it, submitted it. I'm just waiting on a response. And 5 is, I am all okay. So Yini, all right. So good for you. So rank yourself, y'all. Let me move us along quickly. Competitiveness. This is very big. Who are your competitors? Who are your top 3 competitors? Do you know them today? Who are their clients? Sonia, how much are they charging to do what you do? Right? I can tell you right now without blinking who my top 3 competitors are. Although I'd love to say, Hadassah, I don't have any competition. The reality is that we all fall into categories, NAICS codes. Who's competing with me and who are they doing business with, Yolanda? And how much are they charging, Danita? Do I know this? Competitiveness, knowing your competitors and who they're selling to and how your pricing competes against theirs. What do you offer that they don't, Tammy? And what are they doing that you don't? So how are you faring on this? Give yourself a 1 through 5. Finally, ecosystems and connections. This is the ecosystem of key stakeholders, customers, and partners that are helping you do this thing in life, right? They're helping you. They're rooting for you, Teresa. They're allies. They're believers, Soyini, right? Some of them are mentors. Some of them are legal, HR, right? Who are they? Do you have a resource, an ecosystem of connections? And we have a whole module on this later. How are we doing on this? If you need help, put 1 or 2. But if you're doing all right, put 4. And here's the kicker. You may have these people, but Yolanda, when is the last time that you talked to them? And what have they done for you lately, Tasha Dash? See, we should be measuring our ecosystem. It shouldn't be static, Danola. It shouldn't be because I put it down in December. What have they done for me since December? Are they still the right partner? How are we doing? With that said, you all, we are at the conclusion. You can take a picture. These are the 5 key points that you learned today. This should also be in your participant guide. And before we close out, I just want to hear from you all. Was this helpful, impactful, or beneficial for anyone today? Please come off mute and let me know.
Yeah, it was great. I learned a lot.
Very
extremely
helpful. I discovered
Amazing.
4
Thank you
NAICS
so much.
codes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Good. We do this for you all. So we want to make sure that you're getting value. And with that said, I will close out. I know we're right at time. Does anyone have any final questions before we conclude? I have time for 1 or 2.
I would just say that this was incredibly helpful. There are things like I would say I knew a lot of this, but there were gaps.
Yeah.
So this filled the gaps. I think it was incredibly helpful. And again, I'm working on something this week.
Yeah.
So this is right on time.
Oh, good. The recording will be available July 3rd. We're doing that on purpose to honor the people who showed up. And then it's going to go through editing and be on YouTube. So look out for the recording. And with that, We thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you, team. See you later. I'm wishing you success. Take care.
You.